Hi, I'm Rachel Abbasi. Welcome to the Recovery Daily podcast. As always, thanks for spending time with me. Hello and happy Thursday. Boy, oh boy, I don't feel good. I know it's because I haven't been doing or I've been doing too much, but I just, I'm pushing through, and I'm not pushing through physically, and when I need to rest, I'm resting, but I'm pushing through like emotionally. Um, and I wanted to talk about today the topic of I work hard to be happy. That happiness is a practice for me. And I was talking to my psychiatrist yesterday about we talked about, oh my gosh, just from we it's like every topic just led to another topic. And what was interesting is we finally, to the end of the conversation, got to the place where I needed to be, because there was something that was like stuck in my craw, as my old roommate in college used to say. My old Southern roommate in college used to say. There was something that was stuck in my craw, and we finally got there. And even though I hadn't planned on sharing about it, I'm glad that I did. I had kind of forgot while I was talking to her that I actually had something that I needed to talk about and just get out of me. And and so after we talked about it, um, we were talking about being happy. And we came to the conclusion that, or she led me to the conclusion that I work really hard to be happy. So I wanted to talk about, I said, oh, I should do a podcast about that. So here I am. I've been going through this like stage, which I know you longtime listeners know that I'm in this, I don't know what you call it, like waffling stage where I'm not recording every day. And I'm trying to figure out like what is a good, reasonable cadence for me. Because I feel like when I was recording, and you might be tired of hearing about this, but I have to say it out loud. I was recording every single day for a couple years. And as much as like I loved to do that, and I got a lot of response from folks about how, oh, I love this. I wake up and listen to you while I get ready for work. And I was just like enormously flattered that somebody wants to hear my voice in the morning. And, but I was starting to feel like I was recording my podcast for the wrong reasons, that I was like pushing myself physically too far. So, yada, yada, yada. I am still trying to figure out like what is a reasonable cadence for me. And I appreciate everyone who's stuck around as I try to figure that out, because I know lots of you had gotten in the habit of listening every day. And it is called the Recovery Daily, by the way, for a reason. So I just appreciate you sticking with me as I find my way. Maybe I will go back to recording every day, but I'll record for more like 10 or 15 minutes instead of 30 minutes. Who knows? I don't know what the future holds, obviously, for the podcast. The one single thing that I do know is that I'm not going to stop. And because it's just too beneficial for me, for the people that listen, and we've built this community and it continues to grow, and it excites me. I love coming here and sharing. It's so healing. And so I know if it's healing for me, then there's one person out there that it's healing for as well. So, anyway, I just wanted to talk about that. So I work hard to be happy. And what do I mean by that? I don't mean that I'm forcing myself to smile when I don't feel like it. And I don't necessarily mean fake it till you make it, like I have been doing like I did in early sobriety, like I did in early developing faith, kind of thing. Although I'm still in progress with that. What I mean is like I'm intentionally making choices that I know myself well enough to know that you like this, Rachel. So whether you feel like it or not, go do it. So like yesterday, I was feeling really, really terrible yesterday. It's really, as much as I hate saying it because it sounds like I'm beating myself up, it's my own fault that I don't feel well because I'm doing things that I know I can't do. And yesterday, it's not like it's like I'm going to King's Dominion or Disney World or anything like that. The day before yesterday, I stayed up too late on a stroke onward community platform because I wanted to interact with people on there and read some of the posts and respond to them. That was it. That's why I feel terrible. And as you know, I've been writing my book, and I'm really excited to say that I've been sitting down with my book every day and writing, and that has been so cathartic and enjoyable. I love it. And every day that I sit down, I'm learning more about how to write. I felt like, I had this idea of writing a book, and I was like, oh, I know how to write. I mean, I wrote for work like daily. Well, it's a lot different to sit down and write about what to generate the content from inside of me. And even though I generate content every day, or these days it's been every other day or so, it's just a lot different to put that down in a written form that you want to publish. So it's challenging, and I'll write something and then the next day I go back and I'm like, this could be so much better. So I'm trying to figure out where that place is where I write down the whole first draft and then go back and do that. Like this could be so much better. And so I don't know. It's a learning process, but I'm really enjoying it. And so I'm making these intentional choices for going on to the Stroke Onward platform and interacting with people. I love interacting with people, going to my support groups, going to AA, writing my book. Today, I'm super excited. I'm going to an open art studio in my neighborhood, and I'm going to paint with other people, and I'm hoping I'll make a friend. I feel like a little girl who's starting elementary school, like I'm hoping that I can make a friend. But it's that daily conscious effort of of moving in the direction of happiness. Like happiness is not something that happens to me. It's something that I participate in. And I learned that early in sobriety that life is not going to happen to me in the way that I want it to. If I want life to be a certain way, I need to participate. And back when I was drinking, I was not participating. So living with those invisible illnesses, alcoholism, depression, anxiety, like everything looks fine on the outside, but on the inside, I'm managing I'm managing those jumping nerves under my skin. I'm managing the racing heartbeat, the shaking, the dry mouth, sometimes my face was even shaking. And that I think people could see on the outside. But there's so much that people can't see that are happening inside of me. And more so today with in stroke recovery with this vestibular disorder. I've got these, like you can't tell when you're listening to me or if you're watching the video, you can't tell the overstimulation and exhaustion and dizziness that's going on in my head. You can't tell how when I start saying a sentence, I forget what I'm saying and I'm trying to remember before I get to the end of the sentence. It is work. There is a mental load happening when I'm doing a podcast episode that is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. It, I'm taking in, we don't realize it in normal life, like how much we are processing at any given moment. But when I'm doing my podcast, and that might be why sometimes I'm shying away from it now, because it's like I'm hyper aware of how exhausted it makes me to try to get through a whole podcast. But I feel like it is good exercise for me cognitively and visually. But I sometimes struggle with the fact that I'm doing all of this hard work on the inside and nobody actually can see it. The podcast episode itself is, I would imagine, taken for what it is on the surface, which is a topic. It's a topic that hopefully resonates with the audience. Um, but there's a lot going on the inside for me to create that. Yeah. So, and it doesn't look dramatic on the outside, but during the 30 minutes or so or whatever that I'm recording the podcast, it is a constant effort, it is a constant um, focus to be able to get from the beginning to the end. This is what happiness is like on a daily basis. If you suffer from any sort of invisible illness, unless you're just like a happy-go-lucky person and you somehow have zero emotions or struggles, but it feels like that emotionally on a daily basis with depression. Um, happiness is it takes focus, it takes intentional movement. Like it's not automatic for me to get up and feel hopeful about what am I going to do today. I'm making decisions to do things that I know give me joy. Um, but some days it feels like everything I'm thinking, everything that's going on between my ears is a negotiation. Even like the simplest things, like getting dressed, brushing my hair, putting on my earrings. This is like, it takes intention for me to think, Rachel, you know that you love getting dressed and putting on a nice outfit that matches and is stylish. Nobody's going to see me today, but I know that that makes me happy. So that's what I do. Um, it's, but it doesn't happen every day. Um, it's, it takes work. Um, so sometimes when I'm thinking about, okay, so if this painting that I'm looking at every time I'm recording my podcast, it's coming along, and I know how good it feels to make progress on it. But I've got this battle, this additional battle in stroke recovery with a vestibular disorder that I know what makes me happy, but I also know the things that overwhelm me. So I've got this like, do I pause or do I push? Do I pause or do I push? Um, do I look at long-term happiness with this painting, or do I look at daily happiness with this painting? Like it's just, and I don't have the solution right now. What I wanted to share about today is the struggle that I am. It's live action. I am in it. I am in this push and pull, this I think I've gotten past the point of like, why did this happen to me? Why do I have to be struggling with this? But now I'm more in like this active recovery, like where do I focus on where does my happiness start and stop, and where does my rest start and stop? I hope that makes sense. It's like I I have acceptance and gratitude that I'm always trying to juggle, and it's just hard. I don't even know how to put it into words. It's hard work. And I think it's been so dynamic for me. Like it just flows like water on a minute by minute. Like, um, do I go outside and play with my dogs, or is that going to be too much? Like I know that that is something that I enjoy, but it's also hard when I'm throwing the ball and my eyes have to watch the ball. And do I want to listen to my book right now? Or is it cognitive overload? Like sometimes some things that I want to do, even if it doesn't use my eyes, is like cognitive overload, and I just need to sit in silence. I need to protect my energy and draw boundaries around everything. It's hard. It's hard. I need to know when to say no. I need to know when to say not today. And I need to know when to say, okay, later. I can do it today, but later. Um, I need to know when to connect with people. I need to know when to reconnect with my own, with my purpose. And these are different ways that it takes work. And if I don't share about it by talking to my psychiatrist, by coming here and talking about it on the podcast, then I will turn into myself. I will become isolated, and that's when I start suffering again. Um, Connection feeds resilience. And I called my mom yesterday, and unfortunately she didn't answer, but we did speak over text, and I'm gonna get to talk to her today. But I told her, I'm sorry I haven't picked up the phone because I have been in my own head. And that doesn't mean that I'm not happy. It means that I'm working really hard at being happy. And sometimes I forget, I look inward so much for that happiness and solution and cultivating it that I forget that being connected with other people makes me happy. Um, so that's when I pick up the phone. I remember to pick up the phone. Like I haven't called my sponsor. I've been trying to allow myself to sleep in now, so I don't wake up for my 7 a.m. meeting anymore for the most part. Sometimes I do when Autumn decides we need to get up early. And so on Sundays now, I sleep through my time that I'm supposed to call my sponsor. And then and then I think about it throughout the day. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to call my sponsor. I'll call her or text her and let her know, sorry, I've been oversleeping. And I never do, you know? Um, and to me, that's not, first of all, it's not respectful to her, but it's not I'm not successful when I'm not staying connected with other people. Like, I may be enjoying painting. I may be excited to go to this painting studio that I'm going to today, but I feel my symptoms escalating. So I know that physically I'm not doing exactly what I should be doing. And when I feel physically shitty, I feel emotionally shitty. Um, it's just, it's work. I go back to once again, and I say it over and over in this episode, it's work. Um, my life today is built on small, consistent activities and 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 I try to give myself a little and push a little. And my happiness is not the absence of struggle. I've spoken about this and I might be well off to talk about this once again. I remember sharing about this the first year of the podcast that as humans we are complex and we can feel frustration and grief and anger and still have happiness somewhere in there. Um, at the very least, we can choose happiness, choose to go in the direction of happiness. But emotional honesty is is the only way to do that in a healthy way, to process the frustration and grief and anger, whatever it is that you might be struggling with, and still choose happiness. And the way that I do that is talking to my psychiatrist, doing my podcast, and writing my book, honestly, has been really helpful. I've gone through some feelings that I haven't felt in a really long time. And I'm trying to allow those to move through me. And I think it's interesting as I was writing this chapter about invisible illnesses. The first time I went through it, it was a really short chapter. And then the second time I went through it, it got a little longer and I just touched on a couple things that happened in my life, a couple times that I felt just crushing depression. And so I started going through it for the third time last night and I allowed myself to feel. I allowed those feelings to move through me. And there's a fear when I allow memories like that to go through me. I'm afraid of the depression. I'm afraid that it's going to resurface those feelings of like, what's wrong with me? I'm afraid I'm going to sink into a pit of depression that I can't get out of because I've been there and it scares me. But I felt it last night. I felt those feelings of what it was like back then. And just like in my sobriety program, I'm trying to use those memories to remind myself that I don't, this is why I work hard to be happy. Um, because I don't want to feel that way again. Back then, I didn't know self-compassion and I didn't know, how to do the work to be happy. I thought happiness was something that happens to people and it doesn't. I mean, some people it no, no, it's happiness doesn't happen to people. It's some people are blessed with good things that happen in their lives, but that doesn't mean they're happy. You and I both know that happiness is a daily practice. Happiness is not a destination. It's something that I try to put in my pocket every morning when I wake up. I don't want to arrive at it and feel like, that's it. I've done it. I've done it today. It's something that I want to wrap around myself. It's something that I want to feel comforted by. And the things that allow me to feel it are the tools of my program. Um, I can't really, I can't really emphasize enough how my sobriety program has allowed me to do that work to feel happy. And it comes down to my routine, my daily routine. Um, being mindful, and by that, I feel like that word is overused, but being present, I think is for me a more like understandable way of saying mindfulness, like not allowing my head to be somewhere out there living an alternative life, but instead having my mind be where my feet are. That is how I can move in the direction of happiness in the day that I'm in. Creativity has been a huge, huge deal for me. Gratitude has been a big deal for me. And gratitude takes practice. I've talked about how I've instilled a habit of gratitude in my life, but I still do it. Like just yesterday, I was walking um, to the dog park, and I was at the dog park, and I felt like this is so nice that I can come over here to this dog park. And I said thank you. And as I usually do, I look up to the sky and say thank you. And then this newly found faith is something that is also pulling me along in stroke recovery, and that is taking work. That means that I'm getting myself dressed and I'm not taking myself, my husband's taking me and driving me to church on Sundays. And I'm listening to different literature and stuff because I want to learn how faith can help me in my life right now. So that's what working hard to be happy means for me. I'm making conscious decisions to stay, to try again, to participate in my life, even when things are hard, especially when things are hard. Um, Happiness takes work and is practiced. And I'm going to think about that today as I go through my day and go to my painting studio. and eat my breakfast, and all of these things are intentional choices I'm making to point me in the direction of happiness on a daily basis. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you next time.